Now we were discussing Indian polity. We are in fundamental rights. The topic we are covering is fundamental rights. In previous classes, we have covered from Article 14, that is right to equality, to Article 21A, that is a right to education. Here in this class, we will be taking Article 22. So, in fundamental rights, we have all the 6 rights in Article 19, and then we have Article 20, Article 21A and Article 22 here. So what is Article 22? This article protects illegal detention. So we have an Article 22 which protects against arrest and illegal detention. Previous article, that is Article 21 and Article 20, very close articles. Article 20 was against offences, protection against offences. In that we have studied 3 types, that is no ex post facto law, no double jeopardy and no self-incrimination. That was one which is protecting a citizen from arbitrary arrest or punishment. Here we are discussing about protection against detention or arrest. So we have in general 2 types of detention. One is punitive detention and other is preventive detention. So any person can be detained in punitive detention. He can be detained for the crime he does. So here the court can give punishment for his or her detention. In preventive detention, a person can be detained without doing any crime or without any trial. That is on the basis of thing that he may involve in crime in future. That is on the basis of suspicion, any agency, police agency could detain a person under preventive detention. So we have 2 types of detention. One is punitive detention, that is it's a punishment. Once a person is arrested who is involved in crime, then the court gives him punishment and then that particular person will be detained for the act of crime. So this detention punishes for the crime committed. And preventive detention is only a precautionary. That is, it is not for the crime he has already done, or it is not the crime which he has made or tend to make. Here there is no crime happened, but there may be a chance that if that particular person is free in the society, he may involve or incite any offense. So there is a suspicion on that particular person that if he is free in the society, there he may cause a law and order problem. So on that basis, agency will detain particular person. So it is a precautionary measure based on suspicion. Many cases, many instances where many leaders or many other group of people are detained in this section, under the section of preventive detention. So we may say it's anti-democracy, or it does away, it snatches the freedom of life, freedom of liberty. So why we have brought this section in our constitution or our sources? So preventive detention is also a measure to protect the sovereignty and integrity of the state, security of the state, normal public order or law and order. So it's a precautionary step where the person who is to believe that he may cause some problem, some law and order problem, or he may involve in a crime. So on that suspicion, he may be detained. So that is preventive detention. So we have punitive detention, which is ordinary law. So it's an ordinary law because when we say punitive detention is ordinary law, we have preventive detention, which is not ordinary law. We have preventive detention law there. So under punitive detention, right to be informed. There is a right on the part of the person who has been detained, should be informed by the police why, what is the reason for his arrest. So under punitive detention, a person should be informed by the police. And second thing is, he should be produced before the court or magistrate within 24 hours of his arrest. So a person who is involved in the crime and he is arrested, that particular person should be produced before the court within 24 hours. Here when I say within 24 hours, the time which is taken in traveling is excluded. That is, traveling from the place of detaining a person to the court or to the magistrate is excluded. Here the time is excluded doesn't mean it is, no, holidays and other is not excluded. So holidays are covered in that. So 24 hours is only the traveling time, the journey time is excluded. Otherwise, the Supreme Court has also ruled that if a person who has involved in the crime and the police has detained a person, if he is not produced before the court within 24 hours, he should be let free. So that is the importance of this article, and it is a bulwark, that is, it minimizes the arbitrary action of the police or the state. So when we have in the constitution mentioned that within 24 hours a person is to be produced before court or before the magistrate, so a police could not held that particular person under illegal detention. So it is against that arbitrary action of police or any enforcement agency. That highlights the freedom of life and personal liberty. One more thing is, if that person is not brought before or produced before 24 hours, then he should be let go. That is, if the police has evidence that that particular person has a made crime, then he should be produced before the court or magistrate, and the court could allow then to have judicial detention, or the court may give orders to give a custody to that person. So that is one where we have punitive detention. In that, a person should be allowed to hire an advocate. He has all the rights to hire an advocate, provided the police should give information to their friends or family members, so that there should be a reason for their arrest, and that reason should be communicated to their family or friends so that he could have legal assistance. Under preventive detention, this detention is not on the basis of any crime. It is on the basis of suspicion. So he has not involved in any crime. That particular person has not involved in any crime, may be involved in past, but this detention is not a punishment for his involvement of past crime. It is a preventive detention which on the suspicion basis detained by police to that person who may involve in future. depending upon the circumstances. So that also what we have given in this act is that detention should be communicated to the detainee. That particular person should be communicated, or he should be given reason for his detention. When a particular person has been detained under Preventive Detention Act, the police should inform the reason behind for his detention. And we also say that this detention cannot exceed 3 months. It cannot exceed 3 months. Otherwise, we actually have an advisory board consisting of judges of High Court, where after exceeding 3 months, the advisory board, if suggests that that particular person is a threat to the state or integrity of the state, then this time period could be increased. This time period could be increased. Otherwise, without any advice from the advisory board, the maximum limit is 3 months for any detention under Preventive Detention Act. Actually, Parliament has made a rule. It has decreased this time to 2 months, but it has not been implemented. So at present, we have this limit of 3 months. Any preventive detention is below 3 months only. It should not exceed 3 months unless advisory board suggests on the basis of security of the state, on the basis of defense, on the basis of sovereignty and integrity, on the basis of law and order. So this is one thing. In Parliament, it is under concurrent list, that is, on preventive detention, both state and center could make laws. As I said, center could make laws on preventive detention, on defense, on sovereignty and integrity of the state, and state can make laws on preventive detention on the ground of law and order, on the ground of maintenance of essential services, etc. So both Parliament and state assemblies have the right to make law on preventive detention. That is, we can say that it is under concurrent list where both Parliament and state legislative assemblies could make law. So we have many such acts, many such law. We can say that Preventive Detention Act has been most popular or most unpopular. It has been misused several times. Many innocents have been detained on the basis of suspicion. So we can also say that this Preventive Detention Act has abrogated the fundamental right of life and liberty. We have seen many circumstances where one political party has started exhibiting their vendetta on other political parties or members of other political parties. So it is basically most unpopular, misused act. Many intelligentsia, many lovers of democracy have condemned this, and they want to repeal such draconian acts. On that basis, many such acts has been gradually repealed. So what acts we had in that? Maintenance in Social Security Act, that is MISA, National Security Act, TADA, Terrorist and Disruptive Activity, Prevention of Terrorism Act, POTA, Prevention of Black Marketing and Maintenance of Essential Services Act, MISA Act. So these were the acts. Few of them has been repealed, few of them are still continuing. But because we know, for a peace and harmony of the society, for a stable law and order, we need to have such laws where it acts as a deterrent against the person who wanted to create unstable or who is a threat for the security and integrity of the state. So we ought to have such laws, but we have to again use only in such circumstances where we are necessarily needed. So as we have discussed, under fundamental rights, that is right to freedom, we have important articles. Article 19, protection of 6 rights. What are these 6 rights? Actually, we had 7 rights in this. We have repealed right to property. That is Article 19, 6 rights: freedom of speech and expression, freedom of assembly, that is freedom to gather together without any arms, peaceably gathering. Third is freedom of forming associations, unions, cooperative societies, that is a person or a group of person could form a union or association. Next is freedom of movement throughout the territory of India. Any person, any citizen of India could move in any part of the India. We have some restrictions, we'll discuss that. Next is freedom to settle. A person could settle anywhere. He could buy property, buy a home for him, his family. So he have all the rights. It's his freedom to settle anywhere. Next is freedom to occupation, freedom of profession, freedom of business, trade. So he can do any business based on his eligibility. So we have all those 6 rights under Article 19. We have all these rights mentioned under Article 19 of Clause 1. On the same hand, we also mentioned few reasonable restrictions under Article 19 Clause 2. So the state could restrict these fundamental rights on certain grounds. So that is also mentioned in the Constitution. What are those grounds, generally speaking? Grounds like sovereignty and security of the state, sovereignty and integrity of the state. We have contempt of court. We have decency and morality. We have defamation, incitement of offences. So on these grounds, the state can restrict these right to freedom. And the state says that we are providing these restrictions because of stable law and order. We need to have a stable law and order. Because when a person has given absolute freedom to do anything, he may sometimes causes problem to the society, or he may indulge in some activities which actually avoids or which makes others' fundamental rights invalid. So on that basis, looking at the larger section of the people, interest of the society, Constitution itself given few grounds for restriction of these fundamental rights. As we already said, fundamental rights are not absolute. They are not absolute. So absolute in sense, there shall be some restrictions placed on those rights. That is one part. And in Article 19, we have done with right to freedom, that is protection of 6 rights. Article 20, protection of in respect of conviction for offences. As it's just a revision type thing, we have 3 things here in protection in respect of conviction of offences. And what are the offences here? Offences means if any person indulges in offence or a court should punish a person. Here we have 3 types. That is, no ex post facto law is applicable there, no double jeopardy, no self-incrimination, as we have already had discussed this in our class. We have protection of life and liberty. 2 important things here, one is life and one is liberty, that is under Article 21. We have added this Article 21A, that is right to education. Earlier we had this in Directive Principles of State Policy under Article 45. Now we have made it a fundamental right, that is every children under the age of 16 to 14 years have to be enrolled in some school. So that given fundamental rights, so that there should be no child labor, the literacy rate should increase, and it will definitely have a stable society, because lot of crimes are being made where we don't have education. So right to education is an important factor. And as I said, protection against arrest and detention. In this we have two things: punitive detention and preventive detention. So by this article 19 to 22, we have finished right to freedom.